Hello everyone, today we're talking about cash management, specifically retention management for our construction business. I'm Melissa with Atlas CFO. Our business focuses on construction companies, and we wanted to talk a little bit about retention management because retention is one of those, it's a nail biter and it can really get away from you. It can be quite a monster. So what is retention? Retention is money that our customers hold in case there are damages that they need to cover or incomplete work. The theory is good, and we want to protect our customers. We want our customers to be well taken care of. Retention isn't a bad thing unless it goes on for too long. So what retention is not is to be taking care of warranty items. And this is where a lot of times between customers and our contractors, there's some confusion. And I have to say right now, there is a difference within states. So depending on what state you're in, there are different rules with states on how this is followed and what is done with it. I will tell you that even in some states, even though there are regulations, that owners and contractors aren't abiding by them. So I'm using this as an example so that you can understand retention and how it works, but also please pay attention to your local rules and your state rules in case it's something different than what I'm showing. So let's talk about how to calculate retention. Now I am using a standard percent through this whole thing, but I'll tell you that the most items that we see, we typically either see a 10%, a 5%, or a 1%. It depends on what is negotiated with the customer, what state you're in. I'm going to use 10% for the rest of the video just so you can follow through, and quite frankly, 10% is a little easier math than 5%. I'm simple. So if we had a $100 invoice and we had a contract with 10% retention, we would then hold 10% of that $100 back and we would only get to collect $90. This can be a little confusing, and depending on your accounting system will depend on how this actually looks in your system. Most people bill $100 and they put it into two categories. They put $90 into their current invoice and the $10 into the retention. Then, whenever the customer pays, they pay the $90 and the $10 stays and sits out there until usually the job is done. Now, that doesn't seem like too big of a deal whenever it's $100, but whenever that job is even just $100,000, you can see that that can add up. For many of our contractors, the 10% profit on a job is normal. That means the entire gross profit for the job is held until the job is completely done. This is one of the main reasons that cash flow is so tough for contractors, because with that retention, if it's sitting at 10%, we can hold up our profit through the whole end of the job. So how long is it supposed to be held and how long it is actually held could be different. How long it is supposed to be held, at least for most states, is until substantial completion or until beneficial occupancy. And what that means on substantial completion, most states define it as 98% complete. I can tell you I don't see that very often. I see more of the beneficial occupancy. However, if we're going to talk about completion, most of the time it is 100% complete before we see any movement in retention. This doesn't say that you can't negotiate it. I'm just using some basic examples so that you can follow through. However, if it is not spelled out and if it is not pursued, there are times that that retention will be held all the way through the warranty period. If you have a warranty that is a year, you can imagine how tough this is if they're holding the entire gross profit of the job for the entire warranty period. It can be very difficult to get through, and whenever you look at that AR aging, which is in another video, if you have it separately broken out retention, many times the retention doesn't help you in your borrowing base or with your bank. It's like it's not even there, even though it's money owed. Retention management is one of the major things you can do to change the cash flow. If you want more cash flow tips and more learning in cash flow for construction, check out our website at Atlas CFO, and we have free resources and some classes for you, and we'd love for you to join us in this learning journey. We know how hard cash management was for us whenever we were starting, and we want to share our tips and tricks with you. Thanks for spending some time with me today, and I hope to see you soon.